Welcome, everybody. This is episode 7 of Founders Untold. I am here with the co-founders of Infinite Capital Solution, the Waxman clan, Yaritza and Josh Waxman. Thank you for being on the podcast today.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
All right. So it's a beautiful office that you guys have here, an amazing podcast room. This is the first time we're actually in the official podcast studio, which you guys have built into your office.
Yeah.
I know both of you guys are content stars, but that's where we are today. So I want to start back at the beginning. I guess the story of you guys together, or the journey of how life insurance came into both of your parts separately, however you guys want to tell it. Take me back to the beginning, where you guys were even before life insurance, before you guys met each other and founded such a beautiful agency. Take us to the start. Ladies first. Yaritza, why don't you kick us off?
Take it away.
Okay. Well, that's a lot. Let's see. Where do I go back to? Before I got into life insurance, I was doing real estate. I was a real estate agent. Before that, I was bartending. So I was in the hospitality life for a long time. And then I was tired of the nightlife and I wanted something more in the daytime. So that's when I got into real estate in Houston. That's where I'm from. Then after that, I was selling real estate. And then I realized that my income was depending on the market. So I wanted to get out of just depending on the market. Life insurance license got introduced to me and I'm like, all right, why not? Let's try it out. An extra license doesn't hurt.
So at some point you were doing both at the same time. Nice.
Actually, there was a point where I had 3 jobs at once. I was doing cocktail waitress at night, real estate and life insurance during the daytime.
And was that because you were just looking to increase your earning potential? One job wasn't really paying enough. You needed to do all 3. Why all 3 jobs? That sounds like a lot to juggle.
It was. I like to say I like to stay busy, but again, real estate, they would both go hand in hand. So I would sell a house, but then I would also sell the mortgage protection with life insurance. So it was going good. And then I discovered infinite banking, which is something that you can use while you're alive, which is life insurance. And I'm like, you know what? I feel more fulfilled educating people about life insurance and infinite banking rather than just selling a house. Plus, there's a lot more stress and things that go in hand with selling a home. And I realized with life insurance, there's a lot more impact that I felt I was making.
And so when you say you were selling mortgage protection, you were doing that through the form of life insurance, yes. Right? Were you mostly focused on term policies versus whole life?
At the beginning, we were taught term is the easiest thing to sell.
Sure.
But then I discovered IULs with the previous company we were with, which is the Index Universal Life. It's a type of permanent life insurance. But I later on discovered that wasn't the right product for my clients.
Gotcha.
So I started playing around with different products out there and discovering that.
So I'm sure your guys' story kind of collide here. So let's step back a little bit and hear from Josh over there on the far side. Josh, before this beautiful agency that you got set up, what is it that you were doing? Tell us about Josh.
Yeah, I grew up in outside Philadelphia. Grew up in a entrepreneurial household. Dad has a couple of Philly cheesesteak franchises. And so as a kid, I always wanted to grow up and be like Dad. I always wanted to run restaurants. And so that was really what, as a kid, I was always obsessed with math and business and figuring out different ways to make money. I was bringing up all of the neighbors' trash and the neighbors' newspapers and stuff like that for $5 a month, that.
Whatever you could do to make a buck.
Yeah, I've always been like that. And then my parents got divorced when I was 13, and I started really understanding that the amount of money that I thought was a lot of money was not enough money. And so we went away on vacations together as a kid and had that kind of we did have a good life upbringing until 13. And then we just went from having stuff to having nothing.
And is that because it was a dual income house to all of a sudden 2 independent homes that still had to raise kids, right?
My mom was actually an attorney before she had me and then was a stay-at-home mom until my parents got divorced. And my dad, it was really because my mom hired a really, really good attorney, and my dad runs a Philly cheesesteak spot in Philly, a very high cash business. And her really good attorney said my dad's income was a lot higher than it was. His attorney couldn't defend that it wasn't because there was a lot of cash. And so he had to pay a lot of money to my mom, more than he had. And so between the ages of 13 to 18, I watched my dad just have a lot of stress financially to where like we didn't have that much financial stress before, and then there was like a lot of financial stress after that, and like just always fighting about money with everything and always having challenges with it.
So unbeknownst to you, you learned about cash flow at 13 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
That's a big lesson.
yeah, I just didn't want to have to I didn't want to have to deal with it at all. Like I knew that even if I was making, $250,000 to $500,000 a year forever, one situation can take it all away. And so I knew that like millions and millions and millions of dollars is what you have to make. And being a millionaire is not enough because you can get away with part of it. And so I just was driven like that when I was a kid to learn more about business. And so I started getting into personal development when I was like 14, 15, 16 years old. And really at like 17, I got into a network marketing company, like a health and wellness company.
Shut up. At 17, I was drifting cars and building, bike ramps and like in the driveway.
Well, it was great. It was actually a guy that worked for my dad. He was like drinking this healthy energy drink. And I was like, what is that? And he's like, oh, I have another one. And it was like before Celsius and stuff, there was like, no, it was like Red Bull, Monster, and that was it. And so I was drinking this thing. It tasted really good. And I was like, wow, that's great. And he like took me downstairs in the basement at my dad's restaurant. And was like, here, just watch this video. And it was like a 21-year-old kid talking about how he drinks this drink, gives it to his friends, and he's making $500,000 a year. I was like, I need to do that.
So multi-level marketing at age 17.
Yeah. And so I had a team of like 150 people in high school.
Wow.
I would shuttle people back and forth from school to my house. My mom would cook for them. And then I went to University of Miami and I recruited 15 people in like the first week. And then I started pledging and I just stopped everything else. Yeah.
How big did that multi-level marketing business ever get to?
My personal,
For your personal,
almost 200 people.
Wow, that's pretty insane.
Like it was pretty cool. And it got to a point where like senior year in high school, what is it? Oh no, senioritis, when you're like ready, you're checked out, ready to go to college. And I was making like $2-3 a week in high school. So I was making like $8 to $12 a month. And my teachers were like, telling me what to do. And I was like, we just at the point where like, why am I learning this? Why am I learning calculus?
Be honest,
all this
you were thinking, I'm making more money than you.
Yeah.
And I'm 18 years old. Get out of my face.
And that went to the principal's office a lot my senior year in high school because I was like, why am I learning how to accumulate snowfall in calculus class when I need to be learning how to be a better person and be a better leader and be a better businessman? And I ended up going to University of Miami so I'd get away from everything because my parents were always fighting and I was always in the middle of it and I wanted to get as far away. I always thought I was going to like Penn State or Pitt or something in PA, but went to Miami, joined a fraternity and went from like being like a kind of like I was like always, you can ask my sister, like a math nerd. I was on the math team. I played football. And I was a quarterback of the football team, but I wasn't voted captain. And like, I was not cool in high school at all.
Popular.
I was not at all.
You had some talent,
sister,
but you were an ass
had
dude.
talent. But at college, it was really cool because I like came out of my shell and learned how to talk to people. And then I dropped out of college to open up Philly cheesesteak spots. And I did that for 5-6 years. And then in the middle of COVID, everything was, in the middle of COVID, I was running 2 restaurants at that time. I kind of skipped a couple years, but it's okay. Skipped a couple of years, but we were running 2 restaurants and I got canceled on social media because I said we should stop rioting and protesting and start loving each other and live in the solution. And my franchise agreements got terminated overnight.
It's crazy. We were just talking about the power of a franchisor at lunch today, how like for anything, they could take it away.
Yep. And so then I lost that. And then it was like hard at the time.
But it was during the times of like stuff was going on in the world.
It was during it was like during the protests and riots and stuff like that. And my stores got looted. So like, I was just like, why are we doing all of this? Like, we need to learn to love each other and whatever. My meaningful message that I meant for the purpose of like, let's all come together and learn to love each other, ended up changing what I thought I was going to do and build Lee's Hoagie House into a multi, Subway, McDonald's franchise all over the world to like, I'm not doing that anymore. So I moved to Miami, got into the loan business. I did loans for a couple of years, like hard money loans, high interest loans, cash advances, business loans, equipment loans. And then I hated being in there, because I was making a lot of money, but I didn't like it. And I was not living the life that I knew I should live. So I got into the insurance business, and about a year and a half later, I met Yaritza.
All right, so tell us more about that, the love story, because
Take that part.
I know you carry around, I don't know if you got your wallet on you and you're going to bust it out for the camera here, but I've seen the little napkin, the famous napkin, and I think that is, man, I got goosebumps just talking about it.
What happened?
So
The receipt.
Oh, yeah.
the receipts.
Yes, the receipt.
Okay, the
yeah,
receipt.
Yeah.
Jessley Itzler and Sarah Blakely have the napkin. You guys have the receipt. I like that. So tell us, man,
So,
Diego, you haven't seen this, man. This is a treat right here. Tell us about the receipt.
well, before we get to this, I'll tell you how we met, and then we got to this. Well, I was in Houston. He was here. We were in the same company called PHP, which is a network marketing style insurance company all over the U.S. Patrick David. And then in Houston, we were at a convention in Dallas for insurance, and I was going up on stage being recognized for being a top producer, and he sees my name on the stage, looks me up on Instagram, likes 2 of my pictures, and
Just two. You know for a fact these two.
You got to do the new one and then like an old one, so she knows.
All right. Tips from Josh here. It worked though, right?
It did. He gave me the signal. I knew who he was because I remember seeing him walk around the convention. I was like, okay, he's cute, but I never talked to him there. And he followed me, liked my pictures, and then I sent the DM. I said, hey.
Because
he liked
she's
my
the
pictures.
closer. Wow, we're learning a lot today.
He liked my pictures. He made the first move. And then I said, hey. And then the rest is history. And then we ended up in Vegas.
How much longer? So you guys met in that Dallas convention.
In May,
2023.
And then you guys went to Vegas
August
June,
2023.
July, August. It was less than 3 months.
3 months later. You guys had like started long distance dating at this point?
Yeah, I was
Like-
coming to visit him once a month.
Still working
June and
same
July.
company?
Yeah.
Company.
Okay, but not your company, just a company,
PHP.
PHP.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so tell us about this dinner.
And then we went to Vegas for the big PHP convention. And in that night, we went to a dinner at the Eiffel Tower in Vegas thingy, the restaurant.
What got riz?
We went there, and then he pulls out. We were in the midst the decision making whether we stay with PHP or do we go with this new company that we also left recently. And we're like deciding pros and cons. And that's where we wrote down on this piece of paper, A or B. A was stay with the company, or B, go with the next company to move to the next chapter in our lives. And we
But
just wrote down.
some more promises were made there.
Like
yeah.
what?
I mean, it also, one of my mentors passed away that day. And it was like, there was an after party at Club Ego that night in Vegas. And I was like, I'm super into consciousness, and like it was just weird. Like it was one of those God things where like somebody passes away, you have like a death, you have like a birth, you have someone that's there with you, like a birth of a relationship, and there's like a sign like do not go to Club Ego, like in that moment. And so I was like, will you not go and let's just go to dinner together? Yeah. And like and she visited me in June and July in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
August, we were there together. And then we were like, why don't we just test out the month of September and let's leave where we're at. Let's start our thing. Let's test out whether we like each other more than 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, so I came to live for 30 days in September.
Yeah, good trial run.
Yeah.
And she never left.
Yeah, I never left.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So after those 30 days, you guys started with a new company, right? That's still not where Infinite Capital started. So why don't you guys tell us the story as to how you really got even to getting your own agency, why you started that own agency, what makes it different, and tell us about, the path getting to there. And I know once you guys even had the brand, there's still more beyond that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get to that part, but fill us in a little bit more to when you actually got your guys' own name and when you guys decided to be co-founders of an agency.
Cool.
You started.
Well, I actually founded Infinite Capital in 2021
Okay.
when I was in the loan business, because I started making I was making like 10, 20, 30 grand a month in the loan business. And in that business, there's an ability for us to self-fund deals because we're selling like 30 to 50% interest loans. And so instead of like maybe Diego needs 30 grand to run his business, and instead of going and find a broker, I'm like, you want 10? You want 10? I'll put 10 in, and the three of us would fund it. And we would put our own money. Yeah, it's called syndication. Yeah, like real estate syndication, but it's a loan syndication. And so I started putting my money into deals, and so I started Infinite Capital as my syndication arm. And then I was making good money with that. And then I got introduced to insurance because I had another situation at that loan business that I had a interaction with a guy where he got hungover because he went to 11 one night, and he was supposed to run a client meeting and he missed it. And my boss gave me the lead, and I closed it for like $500,000 and made whatever, I don't know, probably 20, 30 grand off of that. And he was pissed at me. So spit at me in the middle of a meeting, and I was like, I'm out of here, I quit. And I called the guy that I knew from insurance, and I was like, what do I got to do? Nice. And so that's when I got into it, and that was what Infinite Capital was about at first. And then when I got into insurance, I had this idea, if I look at my old notebooks, which I did at the end of the year, I had this whole arm of loan lending, insurance, and real estate. But I didn't want to be in that lending business. So then insurance started taking over. That's the end of 2022. I got my insurance license. We met in May 2023. So now it's August is when we went to Vegas. September is when we left. And we partner with another firm that in the life insurance business, you can't just go get a direct contract. Right? You have to be part of a brokerage. And you have to usually do depending on the company, $1 million or so in premium, just as a general overview of what you need to do. And we weren't there yet. And so we partnered with this other firm, and they taught us a lot. When we were at PHP, we just knew this one little tiny piece of insurance, and we learned about disability insurance and long-term care and how to talk to higher net worth people through this other company that was a local guy, these older Israeli guys that are in Fort Lauderdale. And they really did teach me a lot. We've had some recent challenges, but I don't think they realize either. I'm super grateful for that experience. I just that they already were semi-retired. We're trying to change the world, and we were just not aligned on that. And I wanted to do my thing. And so we ended up, leaving that company once we hit a certain target. And then they gave us, you have to release us. And then they took that release away. It's caused all this drama in the business, which I don't like the politics of finance, but there is politics in finance. And so we had to then hit another target to hit this goal. And we did that in September of this past year, 2025. So basically thanks. Yeah. So almost 2 years exactly. It was almost 2 years exactly that we got started.
So 2 years from Yaritza's free subscription.
Yeah.
You guys finally get released from your other brokerage and really started your own story.
Yeah.
Even though you guys have been operating under Infinite Capital with your own team for how long though?
September 2023.
So those full 2 years, you guys ran essentially your own brand, your own marketing, everything. Just now in insurance, it's not that easy to be independent.
Yeah, it's really not.
Yeah. And I mean, I shared with you that day that we golfed, I kind of, on the PNC side, it's very similar, right?
Of course.
You have to be part of an aggregate first. And these are things that you don't really know going in.
Right.
Even as an agent, you never get to see that side of the business. And it's the challenging part that you got to figure out.
Yeah. We both had to go through some stuff like that.
Yeah. Crazy buyouts and stupid. Hey, it's pay to play, right?
It is a pay to play. And I also think that that's valuable life experiences. That's what makes it worth it. You don't have a buy-in. At Lee's Hoagie House, I had to put down $220,000 to open up a location. You don't have to do that in insurance. You don't have any cost of goods sold.
Sure. So
I think it should be a little pay to play. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It separates the players from the pretenders.
A little bit of barrier of entry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys now fully and free on your own, but starting in September of 23, you guys were doing your own thing. And so you guys focus primarily on a specific type of life insurance, right? Without giving everybody a sales pitch, which I know we'll give you guys an opportunity to do that. Tell me why you guys have really carved out a niche, why that's important to you, and how you guys use it in your own lives, and how that really helps you like practice what you preach, I guess is what I'm getting to. And I think you guys, from what I've seen, are people that definitely practice what you preach, but I wouldn't do it justice trying to explain it. So why don't you guys shed a little bit of light on that? And we'll continue a little bit deeper into the details later.
All right. Well, I'll start. When we got into the life insurance business, we were just selling basic insurance. We didn't know there was a whole other world to it. But then
for like the people tuning in here and are my 83 subscribers here, what is basic insurance to you?
Basic insurance is just regular life insurance, or there's these other insurance companies that sell final expense, which are just a smaller death benefit.
$5,000, pay for a funeral type policies.
Yes, exactly. Those are quick turnaround policies. The agents get paid right away, probably within hours or the next day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, commissions get paid out faster. That's how we were making money. In the beginning, I was making 10, 20 also, but just fast policies.
Sure.
And then later we discovered infinite banking was done with whole life. And that's when we realized, okay, the people that want these type of policies are not the everyday average person, because the everyday average person just wants to protect their family, which is still good. It's life insurance, death benefit. But when the way that we felt we were going to make an impact was really designing and changing the way people think about money and the banking system. Imagine creating your own family bank in the future, and your children or your grandchildren never have to go to the bank to ever ask for a loan. Instead, they go to the bank of Waxman and they come to our family and, hey, I need a loan for my car, my college fund, whatever it is, instead of them paying interest to the banks or anybody else out there, when they could just keep it in the family.
You guys have created a private bank.
Yeah. So
that's what you're doing for families.
Yeah. And we realized that's a niche that's needed in this world right now.
And why do you say that? Because, again, I don't want to sell for you guys. I kind of have an understanding here. But, as somebody who is, self-employed myself, right? And, I know that writing off things for many business owners is, if they could operate right there without getting into the weird part of the tax code, right? Just operate above board, there's still a lot of tax advantage there, right? And is it fair to say that if people fully take advantage of that, their creditworthiness, like to a traditional bank, gets encumbered? Like it's not as easy to get that type of lending anymore, right? Even to qualify for a home. And so from what I've gathered, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, from what you guys have built, that's really your target client, right? Is working with people like that so that they could self-fund, their own bank, like you say, through the form of a whole life policy, and continue to gain leverage, but with their own capital.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. I would say, because I come from the real estate world, I always think of comparing a whole life policy, a properly designed whole life policy, like you're buying a house or like an asset. It is an asset class. And the cash value is the equity.
Oh, beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. So it's like you're building a home with equity in it.
I like that a lot.
And then you can leverage like a whole HELOC.
Man, I went through like 3-minute spiel and she was like, I got it in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But it's a way more valuable home.
Right.
It's actually very interesting. I had this experience that like one year for New Year's, people were inviting me to go out. I was like, I'm just going to stay by myself and hang. And so I stayed by myself and I set a notebook. And I was like, just why do I even care about making money like this? What's the purpose of it? And at the end of the day, the whole purpose is to keep what you need to be able to live your life and have good experiences, and then give the rest away, whether it's to your family or pass it on or to charity or some cause that you believe in. But it's very interesting because we get looped into like putting money into 401ks and IRAs and the stock market, where if you put $1 into the stock market and then you die, your family gets $1. If you put $1 into your 401k and you die, your family gets $1. If you put $1 into real estate, you put 20% down, you get 5x your money. But if you put $1 down on a monthly premium of a life insurance policy and you die, now this is where like Primerica or like the term policy people would say you'll get way more money with a term for that dollar, which is true, but it expires 98% of the time and we're living longer. So on a side note, if you put $1 into a whole life policy, if you're 30 years old, you'll get 1,200 times return on your money for legacy. And if you're 60, you'll get 300 times. And if you're in between, you'll get in between.
Gotcha.
But like you can multiply your money so much more and be able to create so much more wealth. And so if you actually think of it just like an actual bank account, like Nelson Nash says that I wish it was called a banking system with a death benefit thrown in for good measure. Like
It's the opposite.
yeah, just like it is the opposite. It's a life insurance policy that you can use as a banking system. But the reality is, if it was the opposite and you were comparing having a normal traditional bank account to having an infinite banking account, which is whatever it is, not like compliant terminology, but whatever, like you would have so much more wealth, so much more cash, so much more everything than if you just did what everyone else does.
Very cool. So let's talk about the process of operating an agency. And you guys are my first power couple that I've interviewed. I did.
Nice.
Episode 6 was with my wife.
Oh, yeah.
We
So that's
run
the first one.
very closely aligned businesses, but we do not work with each other every single day like you guys do. So I'd imagine that comes with challenges. I'd imagine that comes with a lot of joys too. Right? So why don't you take us through like a working relationship for the viewers, because we only have 83 followers, but we got a lot more viewers.
Okay, they'll double after.
Tell us about what it's like to work with a spouse and live with a spouse. I mean, you guys don't escape each other. You guys wake up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym together every day.
Or always together.
So tell me like the beauty and the challenges of it, if you would, from each of your perspectives.
She went away this weekend by herself,
Yeah,
and she
it's
called me crying one Saturday night.
Those what's here to joy, Josh, you're misunderstanding women.
It was actually nice to get away for the weekend.
Where'd you go?
Mar-a-Lago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It was awesome. I was invited to go to a dog charity event with Elena Cardone and Natalie Dawson. So, and a bunch of billionaires there too. I was like, oh my gosh, they're just auctioning dogs and purses and jewelry for $50,000, $100,000. I'm like, oh my God.
What'd you buy?
Nothing. He didn't let me.
She donated $500.
I donated $500.
Okay.
It was for the
Sport
dogs.
dogs.
It was for the puppies.
All right, cool.
But yeah, so
We're working together.
working together.
You got distracted by all the shiny things. Yeah. The beauty of not working with them, we get that. Okay.
$100,000 purse.
So starting off, it was very challenging. We were trying to figure out what roles we were best at. And I came from selling and being a top sales producer to going and now becoming a business owner next to my husband, who we kind of just met too, and figuring out how to really work together and live the married life in the beginning. That was challenging.
So how long ago was that? Give us
A year ago?
What?
2 years ago?
No, like a little over, like 2.5 years ago. September 2023.
You let her tell her story.
I was going to say, until we finally moved in this office is when we actually discovered good roles in each other.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So before you guys were kind of like probably overlapping a lot, right?
Yes.
Like not really running it. You guys were selling,
Right.
right? And both trying to sell as much.
Yeah.
Josh?
He was selling. Of course, he's the closer. He's running the business. And I was like, but I had it was my ego, of course. I was like, I want to still sell. Why can't I sell? But I knew that I had to step in a role and help the business run and develop and hire people and interview and recruit. Because I was good at recruiting too, with where I was at before. I had to build a team as well. But now we discovered that I am best with I love being the people side of things. I love recruiting and interviewing people and helping them develop, get to the next role. And if I need to step in with sales, I will. But I also know that there's more for us to do to work on the business rather than in the business to be able to hit our 25 million target as a business. So now it's great. I love it. Every day something is an opportunity. Problems are opportunities for us to both grow. We've invested a lot of money in leadership. That's helped us both, even in our marriage. We did this R3 assessment that tells us there's 4 personality types. There's a driver, influencer, stabilizer, analyzer. He's a driver, influencer, and I'm an influencer stabilizer.
And so did you have an idea, like when you saw that little pie chart, were you like, oh, this is definitely me and this is definitely him? Or were you guys like way off basis? Because I was surprised when I took that exam.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the results were. I just remember it surprised me.
What did you get?
I don't remember.
Oh,
I'd have to take it again.
we weren't surprised. We knew that was it, but it helped us communicate. So this is how I communicate with him the right way and how he communicates with me the right way. So that's helped us a lot with communication. Before I used to think like, he's just a maniac. Like, he's not even listening to me. Why is he like this? And then I discovered it's because he thinks this way. He needs me to talk to him, direct this, that. And that's helped communication.
Yeah. My favorite thing is, you know, when my wife is like, what do you want for dinner? And she's like, whatever. And then I say something and she's like, yeah, but not that. I'm like, then just tell me.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that all the time. Like, I'm a very, just tell me directly what you need or what you want. And I'm happy to do that. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can imagine that's learning your guys, not just love language, but like operational language.
It's all in together. Like, it's really, that's what's helped us the most in our marriage. Because one of our people that's coaching us, one of our business coaches, Felipe, he says the golden rule is not to treat others the way that you want to be treated. It's to treat others the way that they want to be treated.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right? Like, because everybody's different. If I come in like ready to roll, implementing all these things for a stabilizer that enjoys like doing the same thing and not change, I'm like a maniac. On the flip side, if every time somebody comes in and starts asking me about my weekend, I'm like, oh, like, I don't want to talk about my freaking weekend. I want to freaking make money. But then other people might start talking about it and they might see that I'm short with them or direct with them. But really, that's how I communicate. And to be able to communicate with each other in that way, an influencer likes to get complimented. They want to be able to have the small talk. So what I'm learning,
She wants a $1,000 purse.
she wants a $100,000 purse right there. But being able to communicate is key. And also, I think that we are the company we were with before, the second guys, the Israeli guys, I feel like they didn't know what to do with the couple. And so they basically said, hey, here's a list of all the things that have to get done. What are you guys best at? You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, which is understandable. The challenge is we had these walls up, like, I am in sales and I am in marketing, because like I'm doing the videos, so I have to do marketing, and she is doing the people side of things. But it actually should be a little more overlapping for now. Like, I might be in the video, but she's the one that's been posting and getting all the social side of things. Then on the sales side of things, I might be closing better, but she's way better at opening up the conversation. On the people side of things, she's better at an interview, but I'm better at selling the dream of the future. So like, we both know, we complement each other in that way. And I think it's taken us 2.5 years to figure that out.
Yeah.
But we're figuring it out.
Yeah.
And we still have breakdowns. I mean, even today, I was just like Felipe, he sent me a list of all the stuff that has to get done. And I was just like, I was having a little bit of not a breakdown, but just like, I have no idea how I'm going to freaking do this. And this is crazy. We have to fix this and this and this and this and this and this. And I feel like before it would have turned her off or like shut her down, or like she wouldn't have known how to handle that. And now she's like, all right, well, let's just prioritize it. Let's focus on what's most important right now. Like, and I'll go for a walk now. I don't think I ever would have gone for a walk a year ago.
Yeah.
I definitely go for a lot more
Takes walks. Now we both take walks.
Yeah. I used my Apple Watch that she got me for Valentine's Day as an excuse for me having to take steps so I can go for more walks, which is good for me. But it also, like, I would just be like, I was living in a lot more force before, but we complement each other now. And same thing on the flip side is, like, if I come in and I just like start commanding too hard, it's not the same. If she comes and starts talking too much about people and influential stuff and like that stuff, I'll shut down. So we're just figuring out more about how to communicate together. And I think it's really good for business partners and life partners, both.
Yeah,
So-
overall, we love it. We can cry to each other, vent to each other, laugh with each other, enjoy everything together.
Yeah, we cried once a week for the last year, but we're good.
That's good. I know people that have cry logs, you know, it's a real thing apparently.
A cry log?
Yeah.
Like where you write down
You write down and then like
why and
need like a Spotify recap that it literally, because you log it in an app and it's like, you cried X amount of times this year. Yeah.
Kind of want to do that.
I need to cut that out. So do you guys think, now that you guys have understood or learned how to speak to each other, right? Or what each other's preferred languages, let's call it like that. Do you guys feels like you're at an advantage versus having another C-level person who's unrelated to you? Like, would you say that being married and running a business is more advantageous, or do sometimes you wonder what it's like if you were just working with, like, not even your best friend, just like a straight up business partner where it's purely transactional? See you at 9, see you at, buy at 7. What do you guys think there? Have you guys given that any thought?
You're getting deep now.
We're getting deep. We're getting deep.
I don't think about it. I think I would have got more frustrated with somebody I don't know, like the personal level. The fact that we can be like that. Actually, we just learned. I had a breakdown. I was like, sometimes I need my husband, Josh, not my business, Josh.
Yeah.
So we've learned now to be like, okay, I need my husband, Josh. I've recently learned that a couple weeks ago. Because at first it was just like, go, 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 always business. But sometimes.
Some picture. Hold on.
I feel like every business owner has probably said the same thing about their spouse.
Yeah.
Because even if you don't work together, like, it's hard to come home and shut that off.
Yes.
Right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
you're Monday through Friday, you're in work mode. Catch me on Saturday, I'm like, alpha what? Right? That's not true either. But yeah, somebody asked me an insurance question and I perk up.
What is this?
But for the most part, like, it is hard to separate our lives, right? Like, and I think that has become more so the world that we live in these days, right? And it's like, we were talking about how many of our family members, one spouse didn't work, right?
Here's this is super husband Josh.
Oh, nice.
Oh my gosh.
Made an AI of it and everything.
Did.
Yeah, but we were talking about like how, families within our, realm, like, lived a very more traditional life. And it was actually because of this podcast. Allie has an uncle that's really reached out to me and started to like peel back a story that I'd really never heard from his perspective, right? I'm talking about like the sacrifices that he needed to make to Uncle Skip, if you're listening. I know you're listening. All right, Uncle Skip, this is about you, man.
Come on.
But like Uncle Skip, I learned a lot about him and like the function of marriage. And he's talking about like, hey, like, I love what you guys are doing together, but these are still important things. These are like some things that maybe I could have done better. And like, we all live with that, hey, Monday night quarterback kind of syndrome. But even him, like, he didn't work with his wife, but he understood that like raising kids together is a different type of business, right? And he feels like maybe he didn't prioritize that business over the other one. So I feel as though like, even if you're not working together day in, day out, like you guys are, there's still a lot to learn throughout life in general.
Or what about you and Ali? How do you guys do it? You still same house, right? But two types of businesses?
2 different businesses. And I learned early on, like, I'm not going to ask too much about her business. Like, I have to let her volunteer that information. I can't come in like Josh and like, hey, what's the status on this, right? I learned that. We don't have fancy words to put on it yet and say, hey, you're this type of category and I'm this type. But yeah, well, I've definitely, we've been together for 8-9 years now. So it's taken time to get us there. And then with the kid, it's a different challenge, right? You learn a new kind of thing. But when somebody's really important to you, you will always find a way to adapt and overcome and work through it, right? And so with that, talk to me about building a team, all right? So we talked a lot about the two of you guys. The two of you guys are the top of the agency, leading the charge, but you guys have a wolf pack behind you. So talk to me about what it's like to scale an agency. What have been the challenges in doing so, and really not making it a business of just the two of you now, but really how do you multiply this? And
Cool. Let's start that off.
Okay. I think a lot of agents first come into the business, or just people in life. They go into their job or their business or whatever, and they just think about them. Like, they're just a me leader is what we call it, of like someone just like, I need to lead myself and that's all I'm responsible for. I didn't have that privilege in life to ever think that way because I grew up in business. So my whole life is all about building business. And so when we first got started in our team, like the first thing we did was hire people. So I don't know how to do the opposite. Okay. So like I think one of my biggest weaknesses and blind spots and strengths all at the same time is that I have no clue how most people think about themselves only. and not in a selfish way or a bad way or just whatever way. It's like I'm constantly thinking about the team. Like, and I only would be happy if I built a really big agency and had a big team and impacted a lot of people. And if I could make $1 billion a year by myself at my home selling policies, or $1 billion a year in building a company, and the same thing was the same amount of the situation, I would feel unfulfilled if I did the former.
That's right.
And so building was like the first thing that we did. And when you were in the network marketing style, like you have to recruit kind of thing. But I actually wasn't that good at recruiting for network marketing. She was, because I was like, no, it was very part-time type of thing. And I also don't know how to do that either. Like, hey, I'm just like full-time all the time. And so that was a challenge for me. And so growing, I learned from her to be able to have some slack with the team and be able to understand that. But when we first got in, we just hired anyone, literally anyone that was willing to work with us. Again, network marketing style, like just, yeah, you're willing to get set up, let's get set up. And it was really hard, but we built our company in 2024. We ended the year with like 35 people. And then and that's why we moved to the new office, because we were getting in trouble by our landlord.
I think 2025, right?
2024.
Oh, yeah, that was 2020.
Yeah, we got in trouble. Like we were running appointments in the hallway and in the kitchen, and we were like in the shared workspace.
We were in
like,
Brickell in a tiny spot.
yeah, this really, really small spot with like all these people. And we had to move to a new office. And then we moved to an office a year ago, almost exactly, March of 2025. And then we got set up with Cardone Ventures and like started building and scaling with their way. And one of the first things that Natalie Dawson said to do is anyone that hasn't produced in a month, let them go. So I was like 12 people. So then we're like 15 to or 25 to or 35 to 23. And then it was like anyone, and just focus on only the people in your office. Well, we had like 8 remote people. So I got it, boom.
Yeah.
See you later, down to 15. And then we're making all these changes and people are like, why are you making all these changes? We don't want to make changes. And so one of the most costly mistakes in my life is I said, well, if you're not gonna, like, I need to hold you accountable or stuff. Like I want to start tracking metrics and KPIs. And people are like, well, we didn't get set up that way. We're insurance agents. You can't tell me what to do. I'm like, well, if you're insurance agents because you think you're 1099, I'm going to give you a salary and now you're going to be W-2. And they were like, okay. But then when it came time to actually hold them accountable, they were like, you're trying to control me. And really, again, another thing, like, I don't know how you don't track your life. I've always tracked. My dad like taught me how to do a transaction register of track every dollar in and out of my bank account when I was like 6. So like, that's another thing. You don't want me to ask you how many calls you made. How you could possibly know? How could a quarterback know how good he's doing if he doesn't know how many yards he threw, how many completions he had, how many touchdowns he threw? Like, you just want to like walk out there and wing it. So then we had a couple of our top performers that didn't want the accountability that left. And then one of them was dating another chick in the office, so she left. And then we had another situation, another situation between a couple at the office, and we had to let them go, which is for them their
And it
own
hurt
situation.
because they were our top people.
All of them.
And that's when we were also having high months because, of course, we were getting override by training them and building them.
Yeah.
And we were like, do we let them go? Do we not let them go?
It's a big challenge.
Income went down.
Yeah, we literally our income cut in half, like that. But I wouldn't.
And do you feel like now it's been some time, right?
Yeah.
Can you say now that was the right call? Like, Did you feel a regret maybe immediately after, but now hindsight, you're relieved almost?
Yes. I think it's like a relationship that you let go, that you know it's not the right relationship to be in, but you're like, damn.
It's familiar.
Like, shit. Yeah, like damn, that they were making a lot of money. Should we just let them do that? Or like, that was a fun time. Should I have not done that? Like, and the reality is it's in the long run, it's always about it. And you can talk about like core values a little bit. Like they're not aligned with who we are. So yeah, we were making money off of them, but that was it.
Josh, you mentioned like you could make $1 billion on your own, or you can make $1 billion with the team.
Yeah.
And then you talked about making the tough call to like essentially reduce income by letting go or releasing some of your teammates. So what is the driving force? Because it seems like money is obviously a motivator, right? But it's not the primary objective. So for both of you guys, what is that driving force that keeps you wanting to scale the business day in, day out?
You go first.
For me, it's
I
about
have some water.
leadership. I'm big into John Maxwell. We just saw him 2 weeks ago. And he says everything rises and falls on leadership. And the world needs more leaders. So I see in this industry, we can create a lot of leaders because we can easily teach them how to make money fast if they're committed. And I love to develop people. I love seeing people get into a new level because I feel good to be the reason why their life changes, why they start making more money. They see the potential. If we can impact them, then they will be able to impact others.
Gotcha.
That's my
So is it like really purpose driven for you? And
for me, it's
and money kind of comes along with it. Like you positioned yourself in an industry that you get rewarded for developing.
And also our families. We want to retire our families pretty soon.
Love that. What about you, Josh?
For me, I think most people would say that I'm very money driven, but I'm really not. I'm very purpose driven. Like I just have a very close correlation in my brain that you can't have real influence in the world without money. Like, that's what I believe. That's a belief of mine. And the easiest way to have more influence is to have more money. And so like the ability to be able to teach kids money and consciousness, that's something for me that drives me every single day. Is me and my sister are very different. In school, it was very easy for me. In school, it was very not easy for her. But she was way more outgoing as a kid. She was a popular girl in school. So for me growing up, this is really what drives me in my inner core, is that my sister had a lot of challenges physically, emotionally, mentally, and I didn't on those challenges, but she, as a child, growing up, I was always jealous of her for her ability to communicate so well and be cool and be fun and be outgoing. But then in reality, in the marketplace, in society, then I was rewarded for the business, math, money skills that I have. And it was the opposite for growing up. And so it bothered me that she had to go through feeling stupid in math class or feeling not good at science, when the reality is it was really something that was super powerful as a kid. If she could, if kids that don't have those school skills could be able to be successful in life and take classes and things that they want to be successful at, that is what drives me. When I'm like in my deepest, darkest moments of life and I'm on my hands and knees, I'm like, God, what do you want from me? Like, what is my calling? Why am I here? It's always to revolutionize the education system.
I love that.
However, if I just came out and was, all right, we're not going to do insurance, we're going to revolutionize the education system, I don't think I have any impact in education. I don't think I would have any say at the table. I'm not an educator, I'm not a teacher, I'm just a guy with a cool idea. And the reality is, like, if Elon Musk came out and said, we're going to create a whole school system, it's going to be AI driven with virtual reality and everybody's going to learn how to code, people would send their kids to school because he has influence. If Jeff Bezos said, I'm going to redo the education system and it's all going to be assembly line like Amazon and it's going to be really successful and innovative, people would send their kids there. But if a random person or teacher from whoever knows wants to just create their own school system, it wouldn't drive them. And so one of my favorite books is Think and Grow Rich. And in that book, he says Andrew Carnegie, when he died, he found a note in his desk that said, I'm going to live the first half of my life accumulating my riches and the second half of my life giving them all away. And that's driven me since I read that book when I was like 15, 16 years old. So I want to become I will become super wealthy for the first half of my life, which I'm going to put at around 50 years old, and then the second half of my life be able to either have some sort of liquidity event, not necessarily exit completely, but a liquidity event, be able to take that money and go start schools and be someone by then, to have money enough and be in society enough that there's actual influence behind it.
And this all started with the sibling rivalry, really. Yeah, that's where it stemmed from, right?
It's interesting. Yeah.
And he wants to run for president.
I believe it. I see it.
But I'm like, no.
It was great hair. I mean, he should.
Well, I just
hair like he deserves to be president. You know?
We have to take down the system that was created. It wasn't always like this, but the system has been stacked against us, and so we have to be able to. Like, that's why I'm passionate about infinite banking, is because I know I'm so deep down the rabbit hole with the banking system, and it's impossible. It's like actually impossible for people to have financial freedom while remaining inside of the central banking system that we have.
I know if you guys want to learn more about decentralized banking and breaking down and why Josh is so against it. I know Josh has plenty of content out there. I encourage you guys to really tune in and hear his message and Yaritza's message on that as well. They do a podcast. How often?
It's been on pause right now.
Okay, podcast is on pause.
But we'll resume.
I know there's some backlog content there. They use summits, but check it out. But
Yes.
when we were talking about what was driving you guys, it seemed like you were gonna, and I rudely interrupted you, talk about like your core pillars or your core values here at the agency and what drives you forward. Do you want to share those with us?
Yeah, well, I think core values are very important. That's part of our interview process. We have a 3-step interview process. We have a first one is cultural, to see if they're aligned, ask them questions. We show them a presentation. Second is operational, where we have to see how well they are doing with the script and how well they sound, tonality and all that. Third is the final in person. They come to the office and then they present to us how our core values align with them and how they've reflected them in the past, and see if they show us experience of our core values to see if they align with them. But if somebody can come in and have a lot of skill, like the previous people we had, but have a horrible character and not have great intentions. So I believe core values is very important to have in a company, because it'll help you determine if you can grow a big company or big team, because culture is big in trying to build a team.
So do you feel as though that culture and those core values are imperative to being able to do this at scale, and that's why you're putting culture over profits? Is that what it is? Because like you said, you could bring in top salespeople that could help you make a lot of money quickly, right? But if they're not going to be aligned with you, does it just like hamper you come down in the future? Like why? That's a tough call to make.
Yeah.
Like how did you guys come to making that call to say culture and our values above all else?
Well, we like to say you follow what they have in order for you to get what you want.
Okay.
So, for example, our mentors are a lot of Natalie and Brandon Dawson, which is part of Cardone Ventures ecosystem. And they're very big on culture. They've built over $100 million company, and they are teaching us how they've gone through a lot of their failures with building a team. But we've noticed too, if there's a bad seed, then it's going to bring down the rest of the team, and that's going to lower our income and everything. It's number one. Culture, definitely number one.
Was it like trial and error for you partially to learn that as well?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think another driving factor that like ties in to it is growing up in the franchise world. Like I've been obsessed with like McDonald's and how they do the same thing over and over again. And so systems and processes are really important to me. At the company we were with before, they were just like most broker shops is like you just plug in, they're just like a hub and you can do what you want, but your contract is through them. And everyone, you're doing this over there, you're doing that over there, you're doing that over there. Lee's Hoagie House, the franchise my dad is a part of, every single store is different. And so as a kid, people would complain to me all the time. So they'd be like, yo, I went to the Lee's Hoagie House in Norristown and I had a horrible cheesesteak. And I'd be like, well, that's not my dad's store, so sorry. Like, well, this one puts yellow American cheese and that one puts white American cheese and they put provolone and they put Cheese Whiz. And it bothered me a lot as a kid because I didn't have any control over it. Even my dad's own stores, he does two different things at his two different stores.
We got to find some old tapes of like Josh as a kid just running around with like a little notebook.
Oh yeah,
like grade money and stuff, giving out tickets for making the wrong cheese.
Yeah, so like that's really important in like consistency. And so like the systems, showing up on time, being here early, we both have those core values together.
I'm going to add too, though, some funny things that have happened as we go through this core values interview. It shows that people, when they don't follow instructions, if they don't just follow instructions, obviously that's a red flag. And we've had some people come into our third interview in person when they read the email with clear instructions on having a presentation, say, oh, I didn't feel like doing it. I just had better things. I figured I'd just talk to you about it. We're like, okay. Yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
So it helps us filter it very fast.
Yeah, I mean, that's great to find it out early then once they're on board with you. And like you said, like a bad seed can really ruin the bunch.
It's not easy though. Like it's hard. It's like the angel and the devil situation. Like, do you let go of this top producer that's making a lot of money but causing problems and you just let them be late sometimes? Do you allow them to talk disrespectfully once or twice here? Like you definitely give a top producer more slack. Like it's easy if you have a non-producer or a low producer and they're like late, you're like, all right, sorry man, it's been a great time, see you later. Like that's easy, but it's hard when they're a top producer and they're at your wedding and you care about them and you help them move into their apartment and you give them deals that they necessarily shouldn't have had. Like you help them out with stuff and you gave them money here and there and you know, like you took their family out to dinner. Like there's stuff like that bothers me. Now, as I'm saying that, I know that the company we're with previously, I think they think that way about us too, on the flip side, because we were like, I appreciate you, but we want to do our own thing and we want to leave. And they did do a lot for us. So I know that the law of the mirror, one of John Maxwell's laws, is what you put out is what you're receiving. The law of attraction is like your reality is a mirror of your life. And at the moment that we were trying to break off of our company, that's when the people in our team were breaking off of us.
That's it. You've paid your dues. That's it. The mirror, smash the mirror now. No, that's it.
But now the mirror
smash it, cover it.
We just threw that mirror out. Now we have a new mirror.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, so what do you guys feel as though is your biggest challenge moving forward as you guys are trying to get to your target, as you're trying to build this very particular culture to you guys? What is the biggest challenge? Is it working together? Is it finding the right people? I mean, we've talked about this and you guys haven't said that leads or people, like you guys aren't having a problem selling at all, it seems like, and it's all, you know, on the operational front, which is where most businesses have their challenge, right? So maybe it is the leads. You know, what is your guys' biggest challenge moving forward as you're trying to take to the target and to scale?
I have one that comes to mind first. It's my personal leadership lid. Right. So Brandon Dawson also talks about you have 3 lids. One is your belief lid. How much do you believe in yourself? And you can only achieve up to the level that you believe in yourself. Personally, I've always had a very high belief lid, but there's 2 other lids that are like weights. If you're not good at them, they'll hold you down, which is your operational effectiveness lid. How well can you actually run an organization? And then your leadership lid is how well can you lead others to do the things that are operationally effective to do them over and over again, which is where like the franchise mind comes in. And so for me, I've always been very operationally effective, but I've had a really high belief, but my leadership lid has held me down of like, I've always thought that I was being a good leader because I wanted to build a team, but having a team doesn't make you a leader.
Sure.
Right? Being a good leader is about developing other people and improving your influence on the people that you're developing and then having them develop other people after that. And I've never been able to, not up to this point, I have not been able to successfully do that. And so my leadership lid is what holds me down the most. And because it holds me down, it holds our company down from my perspective the most. And so that's why we've invested a lot into leadership. And I'm really focused on it right now and doing my best to communicate differently and learn about people. And I'm studying everyone's personality test so I can speak in their language and not mine. Because before I was like, well, this is how I talk. So you should learn that about me and be more like me because I make this and you're making this and that's why I'm doing this because I act like this.
Right.
And that's been a mistake that I've made. And so my biggest challenge is learning to let that go and go from being top producer Josh to being business owner Josh that's running a successful organization because a $1 million leader is not going to run a $100 million company. And a $100 million leader is not going to run a $1 billion company. And so I have to become a $1 billion leader to run a $1 billion company. That's my biggest thing. What about you?
For me, I would say it ties to that because it's really operational, I would say, on my end. 'Cause right now we're working on, we've ran to try to build the company up to this point, but we never created clear SOPs for us to duplicate Josh being a top salesperson. And right now he's the bottleneck of the business. So now we invested about $200,000 into this platform review program that literally broke down our whole business, gave us a blueprint of what we need to do the next 10 years to create $1 billion company. Now it's a book like this. So we came back, we're like, okay, where do we even start? We have to start all over.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to start all over our training program, our client engagement model. Everything is in that book.
That's what my breakdown was about today.
Yeah. Like there's so much.
I mean, if somebody dropped a book like that with instructions on what to do,
So
I think that's warranted.
that's
right?
our challenge right now, is really creating the time to create clear SOPs.
Okay. Love that. I think many businesses probably face the same chokehold, right? Is where a founder or a top producer can be a bottleneck, right? And then how do you just figure out how to produce that over and over again? And maybe not even to the same level, but to the closest level, to the highest percentage that you can. And then from there, you're just fine tuning it to try and get to that 100% goal, right? Like it will never be 100%, but can you get to, 79 good, or is 97 good? Like what is, that target? And we always just strive to be a couple points.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I know that our personalities are similar, and like we're both very high drivers.
Me and you?
Yeah.
you're
But
similar.
our leadership style is very different. Where I know like you were quarterbacking everything. I know since the baby things have changed, but you were quarterbacking a lot, which means that your people were very self-sufficient. How did you develop that to where, and what is it in your head that you're not just like, oh, well, I'm going to do better, so let me just do it.
Well, ego, right, is you got to check that ego, right? And it's very easy. I remember when I was young, starting my career, they were like, hey, we need to hire this person for the company because that's what's going to take the company moving forward. And I was like, no, don't do that. Give me half their salary or a quarter of their salary and I'll do that job too.
Yeah.
And I did that so many times early on. Like I was making great money, but I was burnt out. And so when it comes to, scaling, you realize that it's not really something that you could continue to just take on more. And so I've always been a natural leader, I would say. Like people tend to follow me, whether it's good or bad. And so I was like, how do I use this for the good, right? And not the bad. And part of that is checking your ego out the door, saying it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the way I want to do it. I tell all of my salespeople to find their own voice. We don't have scripts, right? Everybody is going to sell different. And I think that's important. How do I support you in selling the way that you're going to be most comfortable? Because again, it's very hard to find a carbon copy of myself. And then with our line of work, in property and casualty, there's so many niches, right? And so for me to say, and go out and tell a client, hey, we could do all of your property and casualty, I can't, right? If you ask me to quote homeowners right now, I might cry. I might have one of those breakdowns that you had earlier and go for a walk or do whatever. And the client's just going to be waiting on hold. Like, I want my damn quote. I cannot do it, but I'm not going to tell people that I can't do it. I'm going to hire somebody that is really good at homeowners, and they're going to be my crutch, but also that leader, right? And then putting people in a position where they can teach, to continue to grow and develop. And I've learned a lot from you guys in professional development is I need to have, a large company so that I can have people that are very specialized in certain things. But when you get to that size, you got to let go a little bit, right? You have to have that trust, and it comes with errors. Again, you're not going to be at that 100%. And so what is that percentage that falls short cost you? And are you willing to give that up? And I think where I'm at right now, I'm saying I have to in order to scale. To your point of once you have money and you have influence, then maybe you could change things and fine tune things. But it's very hard to scale at a rapid rate and stay perfect in my experience.
Do you think, thanks for sharing that. So do you think that it's better is maybe the wrong word, but that you choose to have, let's say there's one person that's doing homeowners, one person that's doing car insurance, one person that's doing boat insurance, and one person doing plane insurance. I don't know the P&C world that well, but whatever.
Pretty good there, yeah.
Is that better, or you choose that more than having everyone doing plane insurance and everyone is out there targeting the wealthiest people of doing it over and over again, so you create systems for how to do it?
So the reality is, even though
that's
like,
how I think, but I don't know. There's a right way to do it. It's just we have a different thing.
so I'll give you guys. Let's say I'm person A, you're person B.
Yeah.
Person A is married, has a house, and has a business. Right. Person B, married, has a house, has a business. On paper, they look like the same thing, but when you dive into the details, they're totally different. Right. The insurability things are totally different. The lines of business are totally different. The houses are totally different. So it's very hard to say, hey, can you have a generalist that just will attack this problem and be able to handle it? Because not every single person is a carbon copy. The only thing that is like really duplicable like that is going to be auto insurance, right? Super easy. Hey, car coverage limit, boom, done. And so that's why it is such a massive knowledge that you have to know for each, specialty, that I think it's important. And the reason I started this is because I came from private equity that said, I don't want to have to deal with 6 agents. And we went over a lot of business because it's like, hey, who does your car insurance? Who does your business insurance? Who does your E&O insurance? Who does your renter's insurance? Who does your homeowner's insurance? Who does your medical insurance? Right? Like there's so many types of insurances and you're like, oh, I have somebody for that. I have somebody that. I created this so that we have one solution. Alpha stands for auto, life, property, health, and annuities. Right? I hate life insurance. That's why I send it to you guys. But the idea was that there should be a one-stop shop that people come in with all of their insurance-related issues and say, they're your problem and we take care of them. And in order to do that effectively, I don't think that one single person can do it. You have to operate as a team. And that's why, me checking my ego out of it is also something that funnels down to the team, and they need to check their ego out of it too to provide for the client the end result, right? Of course, it has its problems, it has its challenges, and we grow. But when I started with that mission, there were people that were generalists that only did auto, that Delta Auto Insurance only does auto insurance. Right. They don't even.
What does that mean? Does that make them a generalist or just a duplicatable specialist?
Everybody has
like
niche.
Thinking like McDonald's. Like they cut the first thing Ray Kroc did was cut off everything. They're like burgers, fries, soda. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Right. And they're doing great. Right. I'm on a
McDonald's is doing
right.
Good.
I'm serving a different audience. My goal is targeting a different type of client.
Cool.
And it's not to say that one's right or wrong.
Yeah.
I'm building the company to serve the clients that we are targeting for the time being.
So like a one-stop shop.
A one-stop shop. Single solution to the overwhelming world of insurance. Yeah, mouthful there. Big or small, we do it all. That's the one I like.
It's a slogan.
Big or small, we do it all. Alpha knows best. Just keep it simple. So guys, as we wrap up here, thanks for flipping the roles here and asking how we clear it up.
You know what? I was actually very curious, and I was just thinking, why not ask? Because I was listening to Steve and Brandon do a podcast, and he asked him a question back, and it was a valuable part of it.
Yeah.
Shoot your shot. I asked a lot of tough questions to you guys. It was only appropriate. All right. So I know you guys are very conscious of your cautiousness. You're very peaceful. You guys have routines. So this might not even apply, but for us normal folk, I'm asking all of my guests, what are the things that to this day with a successful business, replicable systems, SOPs now that you have in place that you're getting there, what still keeps you up as founders up at night each and every day? What's on the mind?
In a positive or a negative way?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
It could be like, hey, did I give the dog food? Did I fill up the water bowl? Anything.
Do the straightener? Did I unplug the straightener?
I don't want to know.
A lot of them, have been about the business, definitely cash flow. And there's been some that are like, hey, that's it. I figured out a long time ago, I got to shut it off at 9 p.m. whether I like it or not.
You go first.
Something that keeps me up at night is, I don't know.
Winston.
That's it. Yaritza sleeps. This girl's the queen of sleep.
No, he literally lays down and passes out.
All right, so Josh, let's start with you. What keeps you up at night if you're just out like a light?
All right, so nothing keeps me up at night unless, I don't usually stay up late unless I need to relax more. Or the flip side is I just want to, tonight, or, today was a little higher stress day than usual, I just want to watch a freaking movie and lay on the couch. Like I do that sometimes.
Okay.
That's what keeps me physically up at night. Okay. But what wakes me up in the morning, which is the other side of the thing, is like this morning I was like talking to ChatGPT the whole morning about like how do I teach people that make $1 million how infinite banking is better than traditional banking. Like I'm constantly like when money, let me say too, is when money is good, I'm constantly thinking about like how can I make it better? How can I make it better? How can I make it bigger? How can I become a billionaire faster? Like how can I do it bigger, sooner? That's when things are going good. When things are going not so good, then I'm definitely like, I need to make money right now. 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 Who can I text? Well, like that. Those are my two modes. And I don't really have anything.
There's nothing in between yet.
No, and I definitely knock out as soon as I'm ready to go to bed. And I don't stay up late. And I've never been a late person. I mean, besides being in college at University of Miami, but I always go into bed pretty early. And so nothing really keeps me up at night. But those are the two modes of like, I'm really, really stressed out and I need to solve a problem right now. Or I'm like masterminding for how to take over the world.
Got it. Pinky in the brain.
Yeah.
I would say now that sometimes we feel, and this does keep us up at night sometimes, is that we feel that we're not moving fast enough. Like, because we're constantly trying to get to the next thing. And are we doing this? Why don't we have this in place? But we have to remind ourselves one day at a time, all in the right time. Right?
Yeah. I think it was just reminded me, like, I feel like sometimes in bed, like we're getting ready to go to bed and she's like ready to knock out. I'm like, she's like, babe, just go to bed. And I'm like, I can't. We have to change we have SOPs. I need to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have to change it now. Like, and she's like, just you'll do it tomorrow. Like, you can't do it right now. It's not going to change one day at a time. Like, I don't know. Coming back to maybe the beginning of the conversation is like, I would not rather build it with anybody but my wife. I actually don't know. Clearly, because I've not been married another time, but I wouldn't know how do you not do, like, you guys are close enough, you and Allie, that you guys are both doing stuff together-ish, but like, how do you go to work and then come home and you're like, how was your day? Oh, today with Bob, and you're like, you have no idea who Bob is, and they're like talking about bullshit goes on at work, and like you don't even know.
You have totally separate lives.
Yeah, just like literally 18 hours of the day, you're completely separate. You go to the gym at a different time. Your wife sleeps in. You go to work all day. You come home. Your wife's taking care of dinner. Like, you don't even talk until you go to bed or like watch a TV show for an hour. Like, that's very interesting to me. And it's definitely challenging. Sometimes it's like Steve Jobs had Steve Wozniak, and like, you're like, just they're boom together. We're learning how to be that way together. But like, I wouldn't imagine doing anything any other way, because I wouldn't be able to not talk about business and how to grow all the time. Like, if I had to shield that off, I wouldn't be who I really am. And so we allow each other to be who we really are at the end of the day.
Awesome.
For some people, it may work, so it's okay. But for us, this is not okay.
Yeah. There's times where it doesn't work, right? And you got to book a girls trip, or he's got to book a guys trip, and everybody eventually needs a little bit of relief.
Yeah.
Right, and that's normal and natural. But I love, I say that all the time with Allie, is not to overshare and make this about me, but it's to that point. It's like, I want somebody that is really a partner in life in every factor, right? Because I couldn't imagine, like you said, how do you come and like you want to talk about what went on through the day to like include them in your life, because how much time do we spend in an office or with our coworkers? And that's why I think culture for you guys is super important, because that's probably most people's first relationship, right, is at work. A relationship with work. Not everybody gets to share what you guys
kind of relationship at work.
Yeah. And not everybody gets to share what you guys have, which is like your partner also being part of your work life and at work with you. So it's really important to have that perfect relationship with work first. And it's tough. And I'm very blessed that my wife is self-employed. And when I have a bad meeting, I pick up the phone and I call her, right? And most people don't have that because their spouse or their significant other is tied to a desk doing something else, right? And doesn't necessarily have that flexibility or availability. So I definitely know what you're talking about. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And for those that haven't experienced it, good luck. Try and experience it. It's tough. It comes with its challenges.
And you also have the ability to do it. Jim Rohn says, you're not a tree. You can move. You can change your job. You can change your life. Like people always, you have me chained to the desk. Like, no, I don't. You chose to be here, right? You don't, and there is none of that illusion of control that most people think that they have. So if you hate your job and your wife hates your job, do quit and open up another business together. Like then you can have a great life like we talked about.
That's right. All right, so Diego has a great idea here that we're gonna ask our guests, and it's 2 more things, and then we're out of here because I know you guys got to book some calls. A question for the next guest number 8 on the podcast. Can you guys come up with a question that I should ask them? And then while I got you guys on the hot seat there, I'm gonna do like a little shout out here for the channel. So you guys just stew on it, and I'm gonna do. If you guys like what you're seeing, feel free to tune in. And if you guys have another founder that should be on this podcast to tell their story, just like the Waxmans did today, I want you guys to drop a DM, drop in the comments, let us know who that person is, tag them in a video, or if it's you yourself, send us a message, send us a DM. If you're here local in the Miami area, we'll try and do it in person. And we're eventually going to take this show on the road and do a little road show. So if you are out of the state of Florida or just out of Miami in general, still drop us a message. Don't feel discouraged because hopefully we can get you on the channel here eventually. And now I'll go back over to my guests for a question for podcast guest number 8. What you got? I felt like it was like a little moment there.
Where's podcast number 7? Just four.
The question for number 8. I felt like you guys had like a little family feud. We talk about it.
All right, like family feud.
Yeah. Was that cool?
Wait, is there a question for us from the last?
No. So it started today.
Oh, you started it.
Because Diego.
Then Diego has to come up with the question for us. So yeah.
All right, we came up. So for the next people that come on the podcast, what was their biggest failure in life?
Ooh, biggest failure. They went deep. They said, ooh. First question, we got the honor. All right, so podcast guest number 8, whoever you might be, your question will be, what is your biggest failure in life? And what did you learn from it?
Yeah.
So with that concludes today's podcast. Again, here with co-founders, CEO, COO, COO, CEO, whatever their hats are and their titles are, of Infinite Capital Solutions. We have Yaritza Waxman and Josh Waxman. Tell the viewers how they should tune in to follow more of your guys' content. And if maybe they're looking to work in the insurance space and they want to go through the interview process, what they should do.
Yes. So if you want to possibly work with us, apply at hiring.myinfinitecapital.com.
That's hiring at...
No, hiring.
Oh, see, I couldn't even remember it. It's hiring. Go say it again, nice and slow.
Hiring.myinfinitecapital.com.
Okay. Got it.
Or you can also find us at Yaritza Waxman on Instagram, Josh Waxman on Instagram, or My Infinite Capital Instagram. You can DM all of those accounts, comment, or DM grow, and we'll send you the link to apply.
Fantastic. Josh, anything to add?
I think that says it all. That's what we got. Yeah.
Thank you for having us, Mark.
Both of you. Absolute pleasure. And thanks for being a guest. Number 7.
Thank you.
Special.